Okay, what we're going to do is go ahead and talk about the order of operations. And again, that means there's a special order that we would need to solve this problem. We do not just start right here on the left and work our way left to right. Even though that's how we read, that's not how we do problems in math. So if I'm looking at this problem, I have to follow the rules. And the rules say we have to first do anything in parentheses. Parentheses are those things. Then we have to do any exponents. Here's an exponent. After we do exponents, we would either multiply or divide, whichever comes first in order from left to right. So if division comes before multiplication, you would do that first. And then the last thing we do is we add and subtract in order from left to right. Now, one way that we remember this is PEMDAS. A lot of people just say PEMDAS because that's kind of what that spells. But a lot of times we can think, okay, the little mnemonic, the little way of remembering is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're always going to think about PEMDAS every time we're doing a problem. So in this problem, there are no parentheses. So done, no parentheses to worry about. The second thing we would do is solve any exponents. 5 to the second power is really 5 times 5, so that's 25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve that and drop it down, and then I'm going to rewrite what's left in my problem. What I like to say is that we're funneling it down to an answer. So sometimes I like to draw a funnel just so it reminds me I have to write each step and keep working down till the answer. So the next thing I have to look, I've got addition and multiplication. I did my exponent. The next thing I do is multiply or divide. That comes next. So I have to ignore this 2 plus, and I'm going to do 3 times 25. 3 times 25 is 75. So I just solved that, and then I drop down what I have left. And now I just have one more thing to do. So I'm going to add or subtract, which this is adding. 2 plus 75 is 77. So your final answer is 77, and you know me, I like for you to circle your final answers. So why don't you write the word circle on your paper if you're watching this. And that's the answer. And so I kind of think it's like you're funneling it down and then the ball with the answer drops out the bottom. It's kind of my silly little thing I like to think about. So let's take a look at another problem. Again, we're going to think about our PEMDAS. So first thing is parentheses. Do we have any parentheses? We sure do. So we solve what's in the parentheses first. For my purpose, I like to cross it through just so you can kind of see what we're doing. 5 plus 2 is 7. So I'm going to write that, and then I'm going to rewrite the rest of the problem. Again, I'm working it down. I'm funneling it down to the answer. I did my parentheses. Now, if I have any exponents, I'm going to do them, and I do. I have 3 to the second power, which we know is 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So I just solve that. And now I drop it down, and now I only have one thing left to do, so I do it. 7 times 9 is 63. So my answer to this problem is 63. We have to follow the order of operations. Now, this is a great one. I kind of like these. There are no parentheses to worry about. There are no exponents to worry about. So the first thing we do is we multiply or we divide, whichever comes first in order from left to right. So I see I have addition, multiplication, subtraction. So I'm going to do 5 times 2 first. 5 times 2 is 10. I rewrite everything each step that I go. So now I just have addition and subtraction. So I'm going to work from left to right. I'm going to do 4 plus 10. And then I just have 14 minus 3, which is 11. That answer is 11. Another problem for an example. Okay, I've got parentheses. I need to solve the parentheses first. The parenthesis, 4 plus 6 is 10. Now here's a little bit of a weird situation. Anytime we have a number that's touching a parentheses, that tells us to multiply. That's another symbol for multiplying. So I'm going to leave the parentheses there and put my 2 touching it. And that tells me, ooh, I'm going to multiply that sometime. I rewrite the rest of it. My next thing is exponents. I have 5 to the second power. 5 to the second power is 5 times 5, which is 25. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite everything. 2 touching a parentheses that has 10 is 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 25, that's the last thing I have, so I'm just going to add is 45. My answer dumps out the bottom of my funnel as 45. Couple more problems here. First thing is parentheses. So I'm going to do 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 minus 4. I work backwards right there. It's kind of funky to write backwards, to write going this direction, but it's what we got to do. Okay, so the next thing I do are exponents. 4 to the second power. That's 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so now I have addition and subtraction left. So I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to move left to right. 16 plus 8. 16 plus 8 is 24. 24 minus 20, or minus 4 is 20. There's my answer. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, every once in a while we're going to get this crazy problem where we have a couple different things in a parentheses and where sometimes we have fractions or decimals, and we don't need to be scared of those. We know how to multiply decimals. So parentheses first. Within the parentheses, you follow the order of operations. So in the parentheses, I have a multiply and an add. That tells me I multiply first. So I have to do 1.2 times 3. Well, remember, I know it's 1 times 3 is 3. So my answer is going to be around 3, but a little more. So if you want to, you can write that over to the side. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 1, 3. But remember how we do this? We put our decimal point back in based on number 1, our estimate, but number 2, if there's one place after the decimal, we scooch it back once. So this is 3.6 plus 4. And the parentheses are still there because we did not solve everything in the parentheses. So now I have parentheses still, 3.6 plus 4. Well, that's pretty easy. That's 7.6. 7.6 times 8. Well, darn it. I need to multiply a decimal again. I know 7 times 8 is 56, so I know it's going to be a little more than 56. I'm going to do this over to the side. 8 times 6 is 48. 56 plus 4, 60. So I've got 1 here. I scooch it back once. My estimate was 56. I know 60.8 makes good sense. That is the basics on order of operations. We'll do one more lesson together to take it a step further next time. See you then.